noon hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It is in the air. Whew. Can you feel it? Can you feel the intensity? Holy cow. I can feel the intensity. BYU with a big win or game against Cincinnati this weekend. Utah with a huge game against Kansas State this weekend. Utah State trying to find bowl eligibility with a game against Fresno this weekend. 2 games left in the regular season for both BYU and Utah in Big 12 play. Everything is tightening up, man. It is tight. You can feel it. I can feel the emotions from the fan base. I feel the emotions from my coworkers. I can feel the emotions across the board. It is tightening up. In fact, I don't know if I remember a time with more anxiety and anxiousness than we are in right now. With where BYU is, where Utah is, I just feel like we are at an all-time intense time here in the state of Utah with college football. And it's a great time to be on air, man. It's a great time to be calling BYU games. And it is a great time to be covering the University of Utah because this is some great football being played across the board. BYU, incredible stuff. Utah, incredible stuff. And believe me, I get it. I'm right there with you. You know, every different fan across the board that's listening to this show right now, I'm with you. I feel the anxiety you feel. I feel the energy that you feel. You know, I feel the hopes that you feel. You're a BYU fan hoping that you can go undefeated and get into that championship game. You're a Utah fan hoping that BYU stumbles along the way and you get that opportunity. I feel it, man. I feel that energy. I don't sleep at night. I can feel it. Another guy that I know feels it, my former teammate at the Brigham Young University, fantastic running back with the Cougars, and the father of one Smith Snowden, the great corner from the University of Utah, joins us now. Will, how you doing?
Doing wonderful here. It's wonderful to hear your voice and to be online, to be live with you.
Well, it's nice to have you on with me, Will. And I was just talking about the energy across the state, buddy. And I know you keep up with those Cougars because it's near and dear to your heart. And I know you are absolutely with the U of U right now because your son's playing on that team. But are you feeling the energy in this state right now with these two football teams?
Well, yeah, I mean, energy is a nice thing to call it. I think that, you know, I sit around and, you know, I stay busy, you know, dealing with my business and trying to help coaches see the light of the alpha players. So, obviously, we're really connected at both schools, at all the schools in the state. So I love seeing guys succeed and play at a high level. But what a great time to be in the state of Utah. But the energy, I call it, I feel the tension in the air. You know, I can feel it with the fan bases. I think the players are enjoying themselves. They're playing hard. They're giving the fans what they deserve, hard play. And a lot of winning. You know, what's that between the two teams? What, BYU has 10 already? Yep. 9 already, 9-1, and
yeah.
Utah's 8-2. So that's 17 wins just in state between those two. Bronco seems to be making some moves up that way. But the real energy that I'm feeling is that BYU-Utah situation, and, you know, everyone trying to figure out what it will take for Utah to get in if you're a Utah fan and what it takes for BYU, and what a lot of pressure on these coaches and these players, man. It's, you know, it just really is. But this is why you play the game. This is why you dream to get to this level of football. And the next 2 weeks are going to be quite exciting to watch.
Will Snowden, former BYU running back, he is the owner and operator of Alpha Recruits, does a fantastic job helping kids go from high school to the next level. He's been doing that for a lot of years. I know you work with a lot of family members, and I know Dre's involved. I know Christian works with it, but Alpha Recruits, how long I know that you've been doing this for a long time. How long has Alpha Recruits been around?
We've really been doing this about 13 years now, full-time, aggressively for the last 6-7 years. And it's been fun. I'll tell you, the changes are just,
they're drastic.
It's drastic. We've dealt with it with me working with Rock, and it's such a drastic change in how colleges are recruiting kids. But it's been a long time, and we're still kicking, and I've been on the phone for the last hour, bugging Boise State and Utah State and Idaho State and Idaho and Southern Utah and Sac State and USC. It's been a crazy morning, but we're trying to make things happen, and hopefully some good things happen for my guys. But they've worked hard and trying to get to the next level.
Just so everybody understands, Will's got plenty of placed players on BYU and Utah, as well as Utah State and others across the board. So I know that this means a lot to you in regards to these players. And Will, my hope for bringing you on today, amongst this tension and this anxiety, is to try to bring a little taste of humanity to these players, because these kids are individuals, man. These kids are still trying to do their classwork. They're still trying to live a social life. They're still trying to do their work. What kinds of pressure are these kids under nowadays, Will? Maybe even in comparison to what you and I played under, where we didn't get NIL money. We didn't have general public pressure. We didn't have social media. Kind of spread some humanity to what these players are dealing with right now down the stretch.
Well, we live in such a ridiculous time, right? And that's from our political leadership, and I'm not talking one side or the other. Be clear, no one attack me. But if we want to live in reality, we're living in a crazed time, right? And then you have all of these experts in politics. There's an expert in everything. Then it's just some guy at his house who likes to watch CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC, and then talk about it and, be an expert on it. And that's what's happened a lot with football. You have a lot of these football experts really attacking kids. And that's the thing. Like, I get it, but it's very strange for me because I played the game at a high level. I've coached the game at a high level. I've had my sons have been high-level football players. My father was a high-level football player. My brother was a high-level football player. Those guys played in the NFL. And you don't see a lot of players getting on here trying to trash players, right? And it's just kind of funny. I see these tweets and people attacking people like you. And before I even do that, I want the public to hear this from Will Snowden. Yes, I do like Scotty more than you. I do. But as far as the profession, there is no one in the world better at what they do than you. The way you're able to break down the film, the way you're able to actually talk about this game, particularly football, it's like it's really poetry. It's really nice to hear someone be fair with all the schools and tell the truth about football, because that's what this is really about. It's about football, evaluating the talent, evaluating the play calls on both sides of the ball, special teams. And I just love to listen to you and learn from you. And this is no joke. You do an exceptional job, and I want you to know it. But as far as the humanity of the kids, the pressures, they're getting paid. The second pressure is you have more media attacks than you ever have. I mean, it's funny. I this last weekend I was at the game and pulled up my Twitter real quick on a break, and I think Smith had got beat for a catch or something, and people are like, "This kid sucks. He's the worst." And it's like, guys, wow. I don't know if they're real or I do think they're real, because they probably don't understand that. When you play DB, someone's going to catch the ball. I mean, that's part of it. Just like you want your quarterback to throw it to your receiver. These things happen. They practice too. So I really think that the humanity, it's really sad for the kids. You have people tweeting at you, tagging you, and telling you you're a terrible person. My son gets these terrible DMs from people I mean, it really is a disgusting time to be an athlete, but also the greatest time to be an athlete. So you got to take the good with the bad, and that's what I think the kids are doing. But they are under a tremendous amount of stress, and they're under the biggest spotlight you could even imagine being on. And I like to think of these people, you're fat and out of shape, and eating your burgers and you're eating your fries and your chicken wings. You got chicken wing juice running down the side of your mouth, and your phone is dirty, and you're deciding to attack these college kids who are just trying to make a name for themselves and trying to make you happy. So it's an interesting time, but I think the kids are handling it well. I have a lot of kids. I do a lot of NIL negotiations for kids and contracts for kids, and so I think they're learning a lot. I think they'll be a little bit more mature than we were when they graduate as well, because they've dealt with more things, especially if they're getting the right type of counsel.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great point. They will be definitely more versed in dealing with all kinds of things. So, Will, you and I kind of have to hear the noise. It's part of our business. You working with kids, me working with the media. And, I definitely feel when somebody misconstrues a segment and goes crazy on me. I feel those things. And we hear a lot of it. Do these football players hear all the noise, or are they able to shut these things out?
I think that there's just no possible way to shut it all out. I mean, the only way you can is not have a cell phone in 2025 and not have any social media in 2025, which is, you're kind of the nerd kid if that's, you're not the kid. I mean, they hear it. They understand it. Or someone else is showing it, or families are upset and fighting, and then all of a sudden you see the kid sees the family fighting. I just don't think you can shut it out. So they have to be really mentally strong to deal with with really a bunch of eyes judging you. But they do have to realize that most of these people tweet or post about you under a fake name, right? They're not willing to come out as who they are and say, hey, this is who I am and this is what I'm saying, because, in a court of law, they would get convicted every time, because most of the time they have no idea what the heck they're talking about. So I'm just stressing to the fans of all fans, and it doesn't matter if it's from Utah or BYU, Utah State. Everyone loves to armchair coach, armchair quarterback. They have all the answers, and most of them didn't play at a high level. They have no idea what it's like to have, millions of people watching you play a sport against other players who are very highly talented, who they've worked their tail off to get to where they are. So this is a real battle that these kids are facing. But as far as their ability to block it out, it takes a special type of kid to be able to lock that out.
My heart goes out to those beautiful players, man, and what they fight through. And it's incredible that, you're sitting with 2 losses at Utah, 1 loss at BYU, and you still feel and hear and sense the criticism, and it just feels like these kids, man, they're put in such a tough spot. And I get it. Nobody out there is feeling sorry for them anymore, Will, because people out there think that every one of these college kids is making $100,000 plus. And I do want to say that's definitely not the case. The money is really across the board is different everywhere with every single player. All right.
And without a doubt,
go ahead.
And without a doubt, that's sorry to cut you off. I do think that they, and at the end of the day, a lot of these guys are making a ton of money. But what does that mean? I mean, you make a ton of money at your job, or people make a ton of money, but people aren't going around knowing that you're not that good at your job, or when you make a mistake at your job, they're not calling you a loser or a bum or whatever these guys want to call you. So it really is sad for the kids, because they really are kids. Most of them, these guys are 18 to 22 years old. Brains aren't even fully
developed,
and you want to tear them down that way. But it's a sad thing, but also just part of what makes this sport great is, guys can really get invested, and, they buy the jerseys and they buy the tickets, and they want to support their team, and sometimes they go too far with their investment as far as emotionally losing it. So it's been fun, though. I mean, what a great year. And there's so much to talk about. 2 things. Utah has been exceptional. Brigham Young has been exceptional. The person I'm most excited about and impressed with this year is not Bear Bachmeier, because Bear has been exceptional, but I'm most impressed with Aaron Roderick. What he's been able to do consistently with this team, and most importantly with Bear. I think people take it for granted. Like he's put Bear in positions to really have him succeed at a high level. My hat's off to him. He's done an exceptional job, and he deserves a lot of respect from not just me, but everyone in the state, everyone in the country. It's been impressive, and that's all I can say about it.
Yeah, it's been really impressive. And I was just watching the Texas Tech game again last night because my brain can't help but think forward, Will. So I'm looking forward, and I should be looking at Cincinnati. I have watched a lot of Cincinnati film, too. I watched the Cincinnati-Arizona game as well this morning. So I am doing my homework, but I can't help but do a little bit of forward thinking. I'm looking back at that BYU Texas Tech game. I went and watched it again. What Aaron Roderick was trying to do was protect Bear Bachmeier at all costs. Now, he left max protection in. L.J. Martin was chipping every out. There was a tight end that was staying in and blocking every out. They were giving Bear Bachmeier every opportunity to be able to release a ball or to find a gap to run through. Now, Texas Tech just happens to be so uniquely good that they were shoving the gaps full. But you are so right about Aaron Roderick. What he's built around Bear Bachmeier, how he's calling protections, calling games, calling quick routes, getting L.J. Martin working, and protecting Bear Bachmeier, it is a masterclass. It is a masterclass. You could give, I bet you could give 50 other offensive coordinators Bear Bachmeier as a true freshman, and they're not getting out of Bear Bachmeier what Aaron Roderick's getting out of Bear Bachmeier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it really just comes down to vision. I mean, if you guys watch the concepts from last year to this year, it's all different concepts as well. What he was doing with Jake Retzlaff last year is not what he's doing with Bear Bachmeier this year. He was able to have a vision, because I'll just tell you honestly, he had that vision as soon as he offered the kid. He did. Guys don't come in and become the number one at a Power 4 school within 7, 8, 9 practices. It doesn't happen that way. He had a plan, and he saw how Bear was the answer for them to go win this amount of games.
Wow.
And he deserves all the respect in the world for it. It was a masterclass in what he's done. I'm not like you. I don't get thinking too far ahead, because I understand that this weekend Utah BYU could lose to Cincinnati very easily, and Utah could lose to Kansas State very easily.
Two good teams, Will.
These guys are – I mean, and all of a sudden you have a whole different conversation. I know it's a heartbreaking thing to even think about, but just like that, it can be gone. I've seen it happen year in and year out. We saw it happen last year. Utah has seen it where it's worked out well for them when they got into the championship game and was able to win the championship game. So these guys literally have to take it minute by minute, hour by hour, and day by day, and stay focused on what the task is in front of you, because both of them could easily not be playing for a championship if they slip up. And these other guys want to win. Coaches are coaching for their jobs and other things. Players are playing for their contracts.
Yeah.
You
Kids are getting cut.
You've been in the NFL. You've been in the NFL. You understand what it is when a contract year is coming up. It's like, oh, dude, I want to make plays. I want to play hard. I'm trying to make my next contract a better contract. So it's changed college football has changed so much, because a lot of these guys are, they're year to year on what they're going to get.
Right.
And some guys are literally playing for $40,000 that are starting for teams right now, and they're saying, okay, well, I want to increase my stock. Am I going to get into the portal, or is this school going to pay me what I feel like I deserve? So no game is to be taken for granted. So I'm not counting anyone into the championship until after game 12. And after that, then I'll have some excitement for BYU or for Utah, or it might be for, some other schools sneaking in because other schools didn't take care of what they needed to. Yep. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I'm focused on Arizona. I'm focused on Kansas State and focused on Cincinnati this week for BYU and Utah.
So you had an up-close and personal look at this Cincinnati team going against that Utah team. Utah handled them, man. disgraced them, embarrassed them, destroyed them. When you look at this Cincinnati team, now BYU on the road, Utah had Cincinnati at home. When you look at this Cincinnati team, give me a couple of areas you feel like BYU could possibly have an advantage on Cincinnati.
Well, I think that in the trench, I think in the offensive trench, BYU is going to have a big advantage. I think that they're going to be able to handle Cincinnati's fronts. So I do think they'll be able to get it rolling, running the ball, which is going to be key. I expect Cincinnati to say, okay, let's load the box and try and stop the run and see if these receivers really do have the ability to be one-on-one receivers. That would be the knock on BYU. Not saying they don't have great receivers, but
that's where they're going to get tested.
Yeah, but that's the test that you want to say, okay, these are zone route runners, right? They will kill you in zones, and also that we want to see if Bear Bachmeier can throw the ball accurately into tight windows, right? So I expect them to say, come up, let's press them, let's be really aggressive with them on the outside. But the question is, will BYU be able to move that line of scrimmage and let LJ and these guys get running downhill? But more importantly than LJ, can Bear Bachmeier get running downhill? Because when he's most effective when he can get running downhill using that big body and putting pressures on the defense. So I think up front they're going to have an advantage. I don't think Cincinnati's fully healthy on their D-line. So I would expect Roger's going to come in with some aggressive, running the ball at them, a lot of speed option at them, attacking the edges, and then taking his shots when he feels it's time. The biggest thing for BYU is to start fast in this game. The only thing that scares me about BYU getting out of this game being a loss is if they fall behind early. Right, Cincinnati is not a team you want to fall behind, because Sorsby is dangerous, very dangerous. He can throw the ball well, but he's really dangerous when he takes off and runs. And so the good news for Brigham Young is they have one of the best DCs in the country. I expect him to spy them with those backers, confuse them with pressures. But I do expect to see a really, really good game, and I'm calling it a 3 to 7 point victory for Brigham. So, but I don't think it's going to be, they're going to go in there and just spank Cincinnati, because I think Cincinnati's going to play with a lot of pride, and they're playing for a lot too. A lot is on the line for them. They are still in the hunt for the championship, and they're going to have a home crowd on a Saturday night. Should be quite interesting to watch.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. Getting on that flight tomorrow at 5:30, headed out to Ohio. And I'll tell you, this has been one of the craziest years ever. It's fun being in the booth and having a chance to call these games, but each and every game had such a unique character to it. And I know this one's going to have a very unique character. Last thing before we let you go, Will, tell me a little bit about this Utah football team. Like, what are these players and coaches' mindset? They're behind the 8 ball. They need help in order to make it to that championship game. But where are they mentally getting ready for Kansas State and to finish out a 2-game season?
Yeah, I think they're, one of the things that these guys have been in this situation before, so I think that's nice. Kyle, a lot of these guys on the staff have been in this situation before. They've got into a championship through the back door before, right? But they understand what they need to do. I think the kids are super focused. I think they have a lot of respect for the league, right? They're not sitting here thinking, we should have, or what could have been. It's a mature group led by a lot of great leaders. Obviously, you have one of the best coaches in the country, in Kyle Whittingham, leading them. And I think they're focused and really committed to putting on a show each week, playing sound football, that physical brand of football that they play, and trying to beat up on the man in front of you. So I expect Utah to play well this weekend. I expect them to finish well, because I think they are super focused on the task at hand. And I think that they obviously are fighting for an opportunity to get into the playoff, regardless if they get to the championship or they don't. So it's going to be really interesting. And one thing, everyone attacks the committee. it's not easy being on that committee. I had to ask myself the real question: how would I do this if I was on the committee? What would I be saying? Really, without any biases, as you evaluate the rosters, as you evaluate the games, as you evaluate the defenses, the offenses, there's so much to evaluate. And at the end of the day, us as fans forget this is a business and it's a for-profit business. And these guys have a lot of different things that they're doing as they decide how to put together this playoff. And that those are with the at-larges that they're going to choose. So it's not the easiest thing in the world. I know it's easy for me as an armchair guy to sit back and say this is what it should be. But as you really evaluate everything, it gets really kind of grimy to figure out how this thing's going to go. So I'm trying not to think about it as much as I probably do. But the reality is it's going to be a great finish, and I'm glad to hear you on the call on Saturday night. And I can't wait to watch these two games this weekend. It's going to be quite fun.
Thanks for agreeing to do this without Scotty here. I hesitated to call. Yeah.
I went to prayer on it, to be honest. I had to see if, but Scotty understands what we have, and I really, to be honest, he shot me a text message and said, please, I know how it is, but please do it. And I said I would. So anyway, Hans, you do your thing, man. And I appreciate the zone. You guys do a great job. Keep on being great.
Well, I appreciate the Lord blessing me with Will Snowden. Thank you, brother.
Have a good day, bro.
All right. Will Snowden, former teammate of mine, one of my absolute best friends. I love that man. So very much appreciate him joining us. Ian Fitzsimmons, he'll join us next, give us a national perspective on what this committee's thinking right now.
Battle against Kansas State. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ian Fitzsimmons joins us. He's the #1 field analyst and reporter for ESPN Radio. He is the man. ESPN couldn't do without him. He's great at his job, and he's handsome. Okay, so, Ian, I'm looking at this picture here, and when I hugged you in the booth about a year ago, you don't look like this picture that I'm looking at. How much weight are you down?
I have no earthly idea which picture you're looking at, but I'd say probably the start of last season, I was 218, and the start of this year, I was 211, and I'm down to 204.
Atta guy. Look at you doing your thing.
Well, it's my wife, so let's be honest here, Hans.
Yeah.
So it was the end of the season 3 years ago, and I get back, and I'm close to like 230, man. I'm sloppy. I haven't seen my feet without a mirror since like week 8. And my wife looks at me at the end of the year, and I'm getting out of the shower, right? And she's coming in into the bedroom, and she just gets down to her birthday suit. She goes, if you want this again, that's got to tighten up.
Story, bro. We start running. So we
and that'll motivate a man, Bub. I mean, you're doing push-ups, but away from the table, right? I mean, you're running extra laps. You're doing crunches. Whatever. You know what? I want a cheeseburger. No. Grilled chicken salad, please. Thank you, sir. Yep.
All the little differences.
Beer, right? No, we're going to go water with a lemon. Son of yeah.
I live in that same world with you, in the exact same world with you, man.
Dude, she makes me, at the start of every college football season now, she makes me weigh in.
Because the traveling could be hard on a man.
Thank you, Hans. You understand it. A lot of people don't. You're in the airports, right? And can you order a salad? Sure. But you have time to sit down and eat the salad? No. Do you have time to hit Chick-fil-A on the run? Hell yeah. I mean, and then you get to the hotel, right? I mean, and it's press box food. Now look, we stay at pretty nice hotels, but I mean, do you want to order a steak or do you want to get the grilled chicken salad? Well, what the hell do you think you're doing? Until your wife gives you an ultimatum. And then you're passing on the steak with the twice-baked potato, and you're going with the grilled chicken salad. So there you go.
I'm right there with you, and no doubt about it. One of the things I wanted to start out with you today is talking about this.
Wasn't that, I promise you.
No, not that. Definitely not that. It's this 13-person committee and what they're currently up to, because I have felt since Tuesday night's announcements, I have felt like the committee is setting things up for BYU to fail. And it's unbelievable to me because BYU has done nothing but proven everybody wrong and only lost to one team that sits top 5 in the country. So help me understand what the committee's trying to do with BYU and as well what they're trying to do with Utah, putting them 11 and 12.
I wish I had an answer for you because I have no idea. And I'll be honest, man, like Hunter Yurachek, athletic director at Arkansas, he got thrown a curveball because he didn't sign up for this. And I feel for him because he's a new committee chair because Mack Rhodes, AD at Baylor, had to step down for personal reasons. I mean, it's been very widely public, the personal reasons, grabbing a player and this and that and whatever else is going on off the field. So he steps down. And think about this. Hunter Yurachek is also in the middle of a coaching search at Arkansas. And now you're asking him to do this as well. I mean, and so he went out there and he looked like a robot, Hans. I mean, it was like he was reading from a script and he didn't have a pulse. And it's not on him. He has to go deliver the message that the committee voted on. He may not agree with it, but he's got to deliver it.
He's got to read the verdict.
I've sat in that mock committee on not once but twice. Now, the last time I did it was about 8 years ago. But it gets heated in there. Peter Burns and I didn't talk to each other for about, 4 or 5 months.
No kidding.
I mean, it gets that hot. Hell yes. I mean, our job was like to go over the 2014 season, whatever the year was that TCU and Baylor were vying as, not only hated rivals, but they're vying for that Final Four spot. So they're 4 and 5. Remember that year?
Oh, yeah. Very well.
Yeah. And, man, when I say Burnsy and I got into it, we got into it. And now we're best friends again, but still, it gets nasty in that room. And that committee has every analytic you can imagine. If you want to know which team in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes to go with a 1-score lead and they have the ball in plus territory, what's their third down conversion rate? What's their fourth down conversion rate? What's their score rate? They can give you all that. It's crazy. But I also like to rely on the damn eyeball test. And my eyeballs, let's start with BYU and Utah. Both of these teams, and look, I'm a big believer, defense wins titles, man. I mean, you look at those Nick Saban Alabama coach teams, yeah, the offenses got better, but, man, it was always defensive-led. Utah and BYU, folks, are both in the top 15 in points per game defensively. BYU's ahead of Bama. I mean, so is Utah. Utah is in the top 10. These two squads will get after your butt. I almost said a different word. I don't remember where I was. I mean, they will knock the ever-loving snot out of you. And so when you look at these two teams, man, and how good they've been, have they tripped up? Yeah. There ain't many teams that haven't. So there's only 3, as a matter of fact, and that's Ohio State, Indiana, and A&M. But to answer your question, what are they doing with BYU and Utah? I can't answer it. Hell, look what they did to Alabama. Let me give you a blind resume, Hans. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Resume A, 2-loss team.
Okay.
1 loss to a 500 squad, 1 loss by the committee standards to a top 10 team.
Okay.
4 top 25 wins, but according to the committee. 3 of those in the top 10, or 2 of those in the top 10. Resume B, 2-loss team. Both losses to top 25 teams by the committee. 1 top 25 win. Who has a better resume?
I would say B.
I completely disagree with you. I'm going with A.
I would go A because of the top 25.
That's the team I'm going with, and that would be Alabama. And the resume B is Notre Dame. How they put Notre Dame, I'm going to tell you right, and this is conspiracy theory, and like living in Dallas, Texas, I'm all about a good grassy knoll theory, Hans. So here you go. I truly believe this committee wanted to keep Notre Dame and Miami in 2 different tiers. Now, when I say tiers, folks, there's a block of sets that you start voting on. 25, I think it was to 21, and 21 to then it comes to a denomination of 3. I think it goes to like 18, and then or whatever it is, and then you start voting in tiers of 3. So you look at where they put Miami at 13, and then Utah, and then BYU. That was a tier. Then the next tier was Alabama, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma. Those are the 3 teams that you're voting on and where to put them. And so they did not match up. I think they wanted to keep Notre Dame and Miami separate from one another. Now, why? I have no damn idea. Is it the Notre Dame brand? I have no clue. But I think that is part of why Alabama dropped 6 spots on a 2-point loss to the number 18 by the committee, and they have 4 top 25 wins. I truly believe that's why BYU is at 11. That's why Utah is at 12. So when you look at BYU's resume, is it that much different than Notre Dame's?
Well, let me slide that in, Ian, because I'll submit example C, which is a team that is currently 9-1. They are 4-1 against Power 4 teams with a winning record. They are 5-1 against FBS teams with a winning record. Their only loss is the current number 5, and they've got a win over current number 12. That's a pretty
and that would be
damn
the
good
BYU
resume.
Cougars. Yeah, you just went with the BYU Cougars. Yeah, I mean, so I think that BYU and Utah got caught up in the Notre Dame-Miami situation that the committee was trying to avoid for some ungodly reason. Just use the eyeballs, use your analytics, and also watch the damn game and rank the teams accordingly. Now, having said all of that, BYU fans, Utah fans, you have a simple solution. Just keep winning. Because think about this. At this time last year, after the third reveal, Clemson was ranked 23rd in the country. Arizona State was unranked. You know where those two teams ended up? College football playoff.
Yep.
And Arizona State almost survived and advanced in the college football playoff by almost knocking off Texas.
Double overtime.
Keep stacking wins, and you still have a shot. Because look at this weekend. Last weekend, folks, was football Valhalla. From the start of college game day to the 10 a.m. mountain window, all the way until you're looking at the back of your eyelids. Then you woke up on Sunday, NFL Sunday. We had 5 games end on game-winning kicks. 7 games came down to the damn last possession. It was football heaven. This weekend, starting tomorrow, we got 2 great games, or really 3 great games. I was going to have 2 greats and a good, because one of them you might not like what I'm going to say. But there's only 2 games this weekend that you have ranked on ranked. That's it. And you know what normally happens in weekends like this?
Confusion. Chaos. Confusion. Yeah. I'm with you.
There's no doubt in my mind, chaos hands is a-coming on Saturday.
Okay, Ian, before I let you go, I know you got to jump off here pretty quick, but before I let you go, there's a couple of games that BYU and Utah fans are looking at in terms of top 25 rankings. If USC were to beat Oregon,
ain't going to happen, but go ahead.
Would Oregon fall below BYU and Utah, or would USC go above BYU and Utah, being a 9-2 team with a win over Oregon?
This committee values where the teams are ranked currently, not when you beat them. And obviously that Penn State win at the time was a monster. We all saw it. We all witnessed it. That was a monster win. Oregon beat Penn State not once but twice. We talked about that, a long time ago now, because it feels like it was an eternity ago. But when you look at Oregon right now, the committee doesn't like them. I think they'd punish them even worse than Alabama. So the easy answer is I think they would fall below both BYU and Utah if they were to both win this weekend at Cincinnati and then against, obviously, Kansas State.
Would USC stay below them if they got that win?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer to that one. I'd probably keep USC below them right now. But Vegas has already spoken. They have Oregon as a 9.5-point favorite. Yeah. It's very rare where Vegas will dangle a little carrot like, come on, come take a little bite. Come on, and then they chop your head off, right? They're begging America to take USC. Give me Oregon.
See, I feel the same way about Georgia Tech, Georgia. Like, I don't think there is a world that Georgia Tech beats Georgia, but that would be Georgia's second loss, and that would be 2-loss ACC team, Georgia Tech, that has been kind of kept at bay as Miami is ranked as a 2-loss ACC team above them. But I can't figure out what that would do with the committee. Would the committee drop Georgia? Would the committee raise Georgia Tech? I feel like they'd keep Georgia above BYU and Utah as a 2-loss team, losing to Georgia Tech.
Well, they talk out both sides of their mouth right now, right? I mean, they're talking about head-to-head. Doesn't matter as much when it comes to Miami and Notre Dame, but they said the head-to-head did matter with Oklahoma and Alabama. So I can't answer that question because I have no damn idea what the hell they're thinking.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, Ian, it's a Skyline Chili 4-way day for me coming up on Saturday morning.
I'm a 3-way guy. You're going all the way,
I'm going all the way.
Hey, I hate to tell you this, Hans, and I pray to God I'm wrong because you know how much I love Kalani. I think chaos is coming for you on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Vegas only has BYU as a 2-point favorite. Remember that little carrot I was talking about? I think they're begging America to take the Cougars. And every now and then they lose that game. But BYU, be very, very careful. This is a scrappy Cincinnati team. Be careful.
There you go. Ian Fitzsimmons, best sideline reporter in the business.
I hope Fry Sauce takes care of Skyline Chili. There you go.
Ian, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, brother.
All right, my brother. Safe travels. Enjoy Cincy.
You too. Bye. So you had to have that, huh, on the way out?
Ian's good.
So,
I don't see it.
You understand what Vegas does with these 2-point spreads, though.
Yes.
These 2-point spreads, that's Vegas's effort to force the money somewhere. I'm talking about a 2-point road trip spread.
Yeah.
They're asking people to force their money somewhere. But I think Ian's off his rocker. I love the guy. I watched the film this morning, and I know that they're getting a couple pieces back. They're getting Goody back. He's a very good receiver. Very, very good receiver. Totally understand that.
Sorsby's banged up.
Sorsby's
not the same Sorsby. Utah broke him a little bit.
Sorsby is still broken from that Utah game.
Yes.
A couple of nights ago. So I understand getting Goody back is a lot of help. And the other guy that people are talking a lot about is Evan Pryor coming back. And Evan Pryor is a good running back. People think that he's better than Tawi Walker. I think Tawi Walker is a really good running back.
He's their leading running back. I mean, that's because Pryor's been out, but
I think what this does is it throws a little bit of chaos into their locker room with who's going to get the carries, because Tawi's really carried it. But since Pryor has gone out, they've gone 0-2. So my guess is they look at Pryor coming back and they're like, ooh, let's put him back in. Lloyd, I don't see it. I just don't see it. If that happens, then Ian's right. Chaos abound. It will be a complete beep show here in the state of Utah. Because
and BYU,
the committee wants it so bad. They would bleed themselves for it. They want BYU to lose that bad. They don't want BYU to be a problem for them. They don't want a one-loss BYU team to be their problem. They want BYU to take care of themselves and eliminate themselves with a loss. And that would just be horrifying to me. It'd be horrifying to me to see Utah eliminate themselves with a loss and remove themselves from the committee. Because the committee doesn't want to deal with Utah down the stretch. When Utah's beating everybody, I told you the point spreads. They beat UCLA by 33, Wyoming by 25, West Virginia by 34, ASU by 32. ASU still in the fight. Colorado by 46, Cincinnati by 31, Baylor by 27. If they go 30-plus wins, the committee doesn't want to deal with them. They don't. They want them eliminated. Just take care of yourself. BYU, do me a favor. Force feed this frickin' committee. Make them sit there in complete disgust and anger with each other like Ian was talking about. Because I can just see the entire 13-member committee laughing around the table if BYU and Utah are completely eliminated and they don't have to deal with them. Force them to deal with you. Force them to pay attention to you. And the only way to do that is take care of business. And look, Ian's good, man. Ian knows his game. And Ian doesn't get any credit. He didn't get any money for saying that on his exit. He obviously sees what Vegas is thinking. But I see what I'm thinking. I've watched a lot of film. We'll talk more about it as we jump into the Ute preview show. Trevor Riley. Is he in the building yet, Lloyd?
No, he's stopping in at 2.
So 2 to 3?
Yep.
So Wyatt's next?
We got Wyatt
at 1?
Yes. Actually, I think it's actually supposed to be 1:30.
Okay, Wyatt Thompson at 1:30. Trevor Riley coming in at 2. That Trevor Riley, the legend. The man that can dig up and stir up all kinds of issues, Trevor Riley. I love that guy. I love him. I've been on air with that guy probably since 2010-ish, 11-ish. We've been on air for a lot of years together, so it'll be fun to catch up with Trevor. A lot coming on the Utah preview show starting at 1 o'clock. What you may have missed coming up next.